question for you, and hear me out. What if the goals you're chasing, the finish line that you want to cross, the bigness you want to experience in your life, what if the pathway to that destination was not actually at the end of the struggle, but rather on the other side of surrender? I'm so excited for today's episode because it feels like a deeply personal episode, but also something that I see in pretty much every client that I work with, pretty much every colleague that I have, all of my high achieving friends, all the women that I have surrounding me. We wear exhaustion as a badge of honor. Feels like struggle is the price that we have to pay to prove that we're worthy of the successes and the accolades that we seek. Our world around us, our culture, the generations before us have taught us that unless we're grinding, suffering, sacrificing, that one, the results likely won't come, and two, even if they do come, they don't count. But what if this is the thing that's holding all of us back from the lives we actually want? In today's episode, I want to dive into this lie that struggle makes us worthy, that struggle makes our goals worth it. Let's talk about how this pattern even got ingrained in all of us in the first place, and then the ways that this is showing up in our lives, in our businesses, in our careers, in our relationships, without us even noticing. I want to share my own story of chasing validation through burnout, clients that I've seen, colleagues that I've seen, and how we've broken free from this hustle culture to embrace a softer, more powerful way of living. And I really, truly want to unravel for all of us what it actually looks like to build a reality that is rooted in ease. Take a second for yourself and think about that right now. What does it mean to live in a reality rooted in ease? And what comes up for you when you think about that? If you have been craving a different way to succeed, but like me and most of the other women, question, is that even possible? Am I lazy? Does that make me unmotivated or unambitious? If any of those things resonate with you, this conversation is for you because yes, ease is allowed. Yes, you can reach all of your goals through ease. And more than anything in this episode, I just want to highlight that there's another option available to you. So stick around. I'm so excited to dive into this. And please, as you're listening to this, if you think of another person that needs to hear this episode, please, 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 please consider sharing this with them. I know for a fact that I cannot reach all the people that I'm here to reach without people like you sharing my work as I go along. So please, please, please be thinking about who you can share this episode with. And I'm just so excited to go on this journey with you today.
You were never meant for a small life. You have bold ideas, audacious dreams, and visions that keep you up at night. But the truth is, big goals don't come with step-by-step instruction. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from becoming more. Welcome to Big Goal Energy, a podcast for high-achieving women who are done shrinking, striving, and second-guessing, and are ready to defy reality in pursuit of the life they actually want. I'm your hostess, Bri Seeley, goal architect, subconscious strategist, and your permission slip to want what you want. Join me as we go beyond the surface level success to explore the mindset, identity, and inner work required to bring your biggest, most delulu goals to life. This is your space to be seen, to be expanded, and to remember that you are not alone on this journey. Let's get into it.
Oh, hey, welcome back. Bri Seeley here, hostess of Big Goal Energy. Today's episode feels so deeply resonant and deeply personal for me, but I know that it's also very likely going to feel very deeply personal for you too. I hear a lot from my clients and listeners of this show, and they say like, oh my God, are you in my head? Like, how did you know? Let's back up a little bit. I was raised by a single mom in the 80s who did not receive the child support that she was allocated to receive. I grew up in an environment where my mom was modeling for me working 2 jobs plus like multiple side hustles just to make ends meet. She had to for us to survive. That was just not an option. When my dad died, he owed tens of thousands of dollars in back child support. For us to survive, there was a level of struggle involved in that. And especially back in those days, there wasn't the internet, there wasn't virtual work, none of that stuff existed. My mom had to go physically into multiple jobs to exchange her time for money in order for us to just survive. This is not even getting into thriving. This is just surviving. And I share this because for so many of us, while the nitty-gritty details of my story might be unique to me, this is how so many of us were raised. We watched our elders, the lineage of people before us, who worked very hard because they had to. I mean, I remember my grandfather leaving for work at 6 a.m. and not getting home from work until 6 or 7 p.m. That was just what you had to do in order to earn money. We grow up steeped in, kind of like a tea bag in hot water, we grow up steeped in this idea that we have to work really hard in order to survive. We have to struggle in order to earn success. And while I was pretty lucky to get a job straight away out of grad school where it wasn't much of a struggle, that has not necessarily been my journey through entrepreneurship. And when you're in business for yourself, all of your stuff comes up. Any of your beliefs, any of your limitations, any of the narratives you hold on to are going to be illuminated with a light very, very, very quickly. So both my personal journey and then this cultural narrative of struggle. I was just saying to my husband on July 1st, this movie got added back to HBO Max, and it's a movie from the mid 2000s. It was Justin Timberlake and Amanda Siegfried and the woman who played 13 on House. I don't remember her name. Anyways, the whole idea was that when you're born, you have a clock installed in your arm. The movie's called In Time. And when you work, you get more time added to your clock. But if your clock counts down and gets to 0, you die. I've seen this movie at least twice, and I'm really looking forward to watching it again because I feel like it's more true now than it ever has been before. Is this idea that like capitalism and societal expectations and being successful have so deeply been linked to struggle for so long. And what's so fascinating to me is that the world that we grew up in, or that I grew up in as a woman who is 42 years old, is not the world we live in any longer. Things like passive income, things like one-to-many revenue streams, things like investments, and there's so many more options available now than there were, and yet we're still holding on to this cultural narrative that struggle leads to success. And I really this year more than anything have been asking myself over and over and over and over again, is it worth it? Is it worth struggling? Is it worth being in so much pain all the time and tying my value to my effort and my output? If you've heard any of the episodes in the last few months, you know that I have been in this like deep metamorphosis, really truly shifting my paradigm and my perspective of how I see the world and how I engage with my success. Because for me, and maybe you can relate to this, diminishing my ambition and what I came to this earth to do in this lifetime is not an option. But if Doing that means I have to struggle for more years. I'm good. I am so over working hard, and I am so over sacrificing myself for success, hustling my ass off, making myself sick because I'm working so goddamn much. I just have really started questioning this year, is it worth it? And the answer I just keep arriving back to is no, it's not worth it. I am at this point in my journey where I have decided to claim my ease era. Now, we're going to take a quick break because I actually want to introduce you to something in this break that could potentially help you also claim your ease era. Check this out, and then we'll be back. I want to explain what this ease era is and why it's so important for more of us to be claiming this and what it actually looks like to choose this in our lives, our businesses, our relationships, our careers, etc. Listen to an opportunity for you to claim your ease era, and then I'll see you on the other side.
You've been doing everything right, following the strategy, putting in the hours, trying to stay positive, but somehow it's still not working. You want more, but the idea of having to do more just to get there, it's exhausting. If you're stuck in the cycle of effort without overflow, I created Claim Your Ease Era for you. It's a 6-week live experience to help you break out of survival mode, rewire your subconscious beliefs that are sabotaging your results, and finally create success from alignment, not overwork. You don't need another tactic. You need to become the version of you who lets it be easy and still receives everything she desires because she's built the foundation based on alignment. The doors are open now, but only until August 1st. Learn more and join us inside Claim Your Ease Era by visiting briseeley.com/e.
Okay, so I briefly mentioned this right before we went to break about this idea of tying our value to our effort. The thing about this for me that's become so hard is that I want to be more and more and more and more valuable to more and more and more people in this world. And if my value is tied to my effort, that means that in order for me to increase my value in the world, I also have to increase my effort. And that has, first of all, a very finite output. And second of all, there's the law of diminishing returns, where at some point, more effort does not actually equal more value. When I was in Arkansas, and I think I have this in a past episode, I was meditating, I've been journaling, I've been just diving deep into the possibilities, the options, a new world that's available to me. And the thing that came through was, what if your 7-figure business is not going to come through your time and effort, but rather through your mind and your energy? I start to think about how energy is an unlimited entity in the world, right? I mean, think about the amount of energy that the sun puts out. Think about the amount of energy that's just all around us all the time. Quantum physics says that everything is energy. If everything is energy, we have access to tap into that energy, to fill us up with that energy. And so, what if instead of physical output and effort, what if our value was tied to an unlimited source of energy? And what if our job was to access that every day? Now, I know your mind is probably popping up and saying, well, Bri, what about this? And what about that? And I have to do this and I have to do that and blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I have had to pretty much dismantle the majority of things that have existed in my world because I know that on this path of claiming my ease era and tying my value to my energy, that the things that have come before this where my value has been tied to my effort, they can't come with me. I want to share a quick story with you about a client because I had a client who was in the Foundry, which is my women's business mastermind. And she came to me and she knew that she was craving this soft and slow life, but she is a practitioner wherein she's only getting paid if she's seeing a patient or a client. For her, her value was tied to her effort. If she wanted to make more money, she had to put in more effort. She had to see more patients and more clients. So she was on this hamster wheel of being in the hustle, craving this soft and slow life, and just not understanding how those two things could coexist, which, spoiler alert, I don't know if they can coexist. And then when you get to the point of understanding that those two things can't coexist, how do you get off of the hamster wheel and then commit to this new way of being in the world? Because when you are craving a soft and slow life, and when you're no longer tying your value to your effort, guess what? You get to do less. You get to stop overworking and stop underliving. During the month of June, I started a challenge for myself, which I'm going to share with y'all on the podcast at some point, so make sure you're subscribed, around what it would look like to overlive and underwork. And this is kind of what my client was exploring as well. Was she has 3 very young children. She wants more time with them. She wants to know that there's revenue coming into her business while she's spending time with them and being able to monetize more on her energy rather than the direct output of her effort. The thing that we worked together on, so first of all, we got her a TED Talk to gain more visibility and put together a whole strategy about her speaking more and getting into more rooms, being in her community more, things like that. And then also having an offering that was a one-to-many offering. So she could run this group cohort and serve 10 people at a time and receive 10 payments at a time rather than just directly trading time for money. And this is the thing about choosing ease and overflow. I hear so many women talking about how they want to claim their ease era, but they're not willing to let go of their hard work era, their overworking era, their hustle era, their tying their value to their effort era. They want to stay holding on to that while also claiming their ease era. And this is the hard thing that I hate to break it to you. But you can't have both. What does it actually look like to choose ease and to choose overflow? First things first, you've got to shift the subconscious programming that has lived within you probably since you were born. You have to shift the perspectives, the narratives, the stories you're telling yourself about how life works from your childhood, your growing up, the role models that you watched and witnessed, the culture that we live in, the Industrial Revolution era. We have to go back into our subconscious and decide to cut off what we no longer want and decide to rewire our brains into ease and overflow. Ease and overflow doesn't look like sitting on your couch eating bonbons all the time. Although, don't get me wrong, I just had multiple pieces of chocolate before filming this, and I got my cup of tea sitting here, and my evening supplements. Ease and overflow does include taking care of yourself first and foremost, but it does also involve work. It does also involve still taking action. It does also involve putting yourself out there, but in a way that feels more aligned. In a way where you're not sacrificing your well-being in order to do it. First things first, we're transforming our subconscious. We're getting rid of the old programming and we're rewiring ourselves for what we want instead. Second, we have to at some point let go of what we're currently holding on to, whether that's a job, whether that's a business, whether that's a revenue stream, whether that's a relationship. I don't know what that is for you. I can help you identify that. But unfortunately, as it sits right now, I don't know what that is for you. What it's looked like for me is I have realized that I actually don't want to scale my coaching business. I want 2 private clients at a time. I want to run 2 mastermind groups a year. I'm really excited to launch this Claim Your Ease Era experience, 6-week experience, but I really don't want to scale this. And I have spent the last 10 years trying to scale this business, and I finally had to put that down and say, that's not the pathway that's going to get me to the life I want. And I know you've heard me say this before. If you are walking a pathway of struggle, Ease is not the destination. If you want a destination of ease, the pathway also has to be easeful. We have to put down the things in the past that we thought were going to be the things, and we have to choose new things. So for me, I'm actually building 2 new businesses. And what I'm excited about in these businesses is one is going to be completely, totally, fully passive income. I have 3 revenue streams with it, and each of those 3 revenue streams is going to be a 7-figure revenue stream. And both of the businesses that I'm building are going to be exitable so that at some point I can say, I have done great work here. I want someone else to pass the torch to, and I want them to pay me a fuck ton of money for the business I've built. That feels like ease and overflow to me. I now want to invite you to claim your ease era. If you are done making struggle a prerequisite for your dreams, this is for you. And I don't say this lightly because this is the journey that I've been on all year. 2025 has asked me to reevaluate everything, to put down the struggle, to walk away from things that I wanted desperately to work that were not working, friendships, revenue streams, visions, goals. I had to put them all down and rewire myself for ease and overflow. Maybe it's turning 42, maybe it's being in perimenopause. It could be a whole slew of a whole bunch of things. But what I have learned this year is that struggle is not required for success. And I want so many more women to know this. And not just know it, I want them to live it. And I want you to be one of them. If you feel seen at all by anything I have said in this, I want you to visit briseeley.com/ease. If you have any questions, you can shoot them over to me. But I want to invite you to join me for 6 weeks of claiming our ease eras and claiming them together. I just cannot stress enough what a lie we have been sold. And it's up to us to dismantle this lie and truly birth a new experience of life and business and career and relationships and health and all of the amazing things we want in our lives, because all of those things are coming through ease and overflow. And I know you may not need it, but I want to give you permission right now to put down the struggle. I've put it down this year, and I'm not going to lie, it's scary. It is so scary to walk away from a way of being that you have known your entire life and walk into the complete unknown only because there's something in you that just has this inkling. There's another option. And if you feel that inkling and you're ready to put down the struggle and you're ready to claim your ease era, lucky for you, you don't have to do it alone. I've already been walking this path all fucking year long. This 6 weeks is going to be incredible, and I'm really, really excited to share it with you. 2 actions I want you to take from this. First, briseeley.com/ease, briseeley.com/ease. Wherever you found this podcast, the link will be there. Just take a look for it. And second, who else needs to hear this? Who else needs to be given permission to drop the struggle? Who else needs to be invited into claiming their ease era? Share this with them right now. Hit the share button on wherever you're listening and send it to them and tell them you need to hear this. I am so grateful to be here with you. Check out Claim Your Ease Era, the 6-week immersion with me. It is going to be so incredible. I'm going to be not only leading the way, but also on the journey with you. We're going to do subconscious. We're going to redefine what success looks like. We are going to dive into what's available to you in such a beautiful way. And I can't wait to travel that journey with you. briseeley.com/ease. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. I will see you in the next episode. And until then, just drop the struggle. Just let it go. You can do it. And I'm here to help you.
If this episode lit something up in you, share it. Text it to a friend, post it to your stories, or leave a review, because big goal energy is meant to be felt far and wide. And if you're ready to go deeper, explore the tools, hypnosis sessions, and support because your vision deserves more than hustle, join us on the Big Goal Energy app by visiting your app store and typing in Big Goal Energy. Your vision, your goals deserve alignment, ease, and your fullest self behind them. Until next time, trust yourself, dream bigger, and never forget you are here for greatness.